guys? So, a lot's happened since the last time I posted a video. As you can see, I am now in a new shop. It just didn't work out. Some stuff happened and I just wasn't a fan of it, so I had to get out of it. But I got this new place. I'm happier than I could have ever been, and you know, it's perfect. So we got a new shop, and there's a little change of plans for the CRX. Now, since the last time you saw a video on the CRX, you would know that, well, you wouldn't know. I've been fighting issues with it backfiring out of the intake. So I've checked timing probably 3 times. I even had Yoast come and do it once. And Yoast, you know, Yoast originally had this head on a motor, and he knows the cam gears are kind of weird. So I had him do it. He said everything looked good. I changed distributors twice. I did 3 different sets of injectors, 3 or 4 different ECUs. I've changed everything. Everything but the motor for the most part. As you guys know, I did convert it completely over to OBD1. So, one other thought, well, 2 thoughts. Either one, originally, if you saw the video, you saw we adjusted the valves on the CRX. Well, that was after the first start. So, one thing my dad noticed when we were working with it was that the valve lash was really tight. So I messaged Yoast. This isn't Yoast's fault. It's not my, well, I guess it's my fault. It's really nobody's fault, but, because really, you should adjust the valves when you put a motor together. You should always reset your valve lash if you've put aftermarket cams, even if you change cams, even if it's to another set of OEM cams, you should still adjust your valve lash. So, Yoast told me that in the process of him moving, that the the rockers had fallen out. So he just put the rockers back in. And I didn't think anything of it, and I just kind of threw it back together. So, what I'm thinking is on the first start, the first couple of times, it did turn over easy by hand, but it could have potentially bent valves on that first start. Who knows? The other thing I'm thinking of is possibly it could be something with the wiring. Now, this engine harness that I got from the junkyard, well, I got the whole harness from the junkyard, but the engine harness specifically had the distributor connectors cut off of it. So I got 2 new distributor connectors, I soldered them in, everything seemed fine. So, I don't know, maybe there's an issue with the distributor wiring that's causing it to fire when it's not supposed to fire, or what. So, here's the backup plan, just in case the engine harness doesn't do anything. So I got this F20B from a buddy of mine. He posted it up on Facebook a couple days ago, and he got it from LKQ. It was in the junkyard, but it was in a car that had been rear-ended, and underneath the valve cover is, underneath the valve cover is nice and gold, no hot spots, no signs of oil starvation. So, in the event that the engine harness doesn't work for the CRX, we're gonna throw the F20B in. Now, if you know me, right now all I wanna do is just put the F20B in it and be done with it, honestly. So, what I'm thinking is probably just throwing the F20B in and seeing if the car will start and run. In the car's current form, it literally takes me 10 to 15 minutes to take the engine out. There's no axles in it. The wiring harness is really easy to disconnect, and it's got 2 mounts holding it in. So right now it's really easy to take the motor out. So what I'd probably do, right now I am working on this car, which is a customer's car. It's a supercharged B Series VTEC. I'm not gonna go into too many details because he wants to keep it kind of, you know, low key. But once I finish this, I'm going to get started on that. The EG is in because he said there was no second gear. So I pulled the transmission out, and lo and behold, there's no second gear. So second gear's gone. There's the gear set for it. Somewhere here. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. That's the other side. It destroyed second gear. And in the process of destroying second gear, something got into the final drive and took part of a tooth out. All the other teeth look fine, just that one tooth. And it, oh, there it is. It took a chunk out of a tooth on the final drive gear. So we ended up having to buy a new final drive gear. We needed a new main shaft, counter shaft, and second gear. Luckily, before all of this, he had a M Factory long first gear installed. Focus. Yep, M Factory long first gear installed. So that's fine. And in the process of doing all of that, he had all the new synchros and sliders installed. So everything else looks good, but parts won't be here for this until Tuesday. So I'm gonna get that on the ground, and I'll probably mess with the CRX a little bit. Now I know you guys are probably thinking, yeah, the YouTube challenge is a non-VTEC challenge. So even if this F20B is in the car, I'm still gonna go. I'm still going to compete, basically do exhibition runs or whatever. Definitely showing face, but at this point, it seems like the better option. Now, if I put it in there, like I said earlier, if I put it in there and it still backfires out of the intake and still causes a bunch of issues, then we know it's not the motor. So there's still a chance it could show up with a non-VTEC motor, but regardless, I'm definitely showing up to the challenge, and it will get sent. Regardless of what motor is in the car, I'm gonna make sure I put on a show for you guys. Also, another reason why I'm really excited is because I finally get to use this bad boy. As you can see, I just wiped it and there's fingerprints. I had this powder coated for my wagon, probably like 2.5 years ago. And then I got this plate made. A guy on Facebook was advertising these a couple years ago, and I got those made. So now I finally have a car to put them on, or put this on, and it's already, it started off as a virgin valve cover, and I had them tapped with -10 for a catch can, and all of that good stuff. So when I pull the motor, I might even paint the engine bay while I'm at it, just so that it's all done and I don't have to worry about it. Alright, so we have Lee here. We've done some talking, and I think we come to the decision that we're just gonna pull the F21 out and throw the F20B in, because why not? So cut to the time lapse of us removing everything. Alright, so the F21B is out. We are going to pull the transmission off of it, take the flywheel and clutch off, transfer it over to the F20B, I have the header right up there for the F20B. So we're gonna throw the header on and throw the motor in the car. And just like that, the F20B is in with the RMF header. So from here, I'm waiting on the right intake manifold because this is based off of an F22 and the F22s have a different bolt pattern. So I need the right intake manifold. I gotta swap over the distributor. I'm gonna use the distributor and wires first before I have the coil unplug in there. You can kind of see it, but I'm going to use the distributor and stock wires to make sure everything works first before I hook up the coil and plug. And what else do I need? I think that's it. That's all that I'm missing. So that's going to be it for this video. Sorry for all the talking. There was just a lot of stuff to update you guys on. Hopefully the next video will be out in the next couple of days when I get the intake manifold. Somebody's sending me a Euro R. But for now, I'm going to see if I can find just the lower runners locally and throw a plenum on it and see if I can get it to start and run. And then after that, we'll take the motor back out. I know I've taken the motor in and out of this a lot, but it's really easy. But take the motor back out. I'm going to clean it up, paint the motor. There's a possibility I might paint the engine bay. Leave a comment and tell me what color I should paint the engine bay. That would look good. I don't know if I should keep it white or paint it purple. Not really a fan of black engine bays because they just look boring to me. So, yeah. That's going to be it for tonight. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Remember, like, subscribe, share. Tell your friends to tell your friends. And you guys have a good day, night, whatever time it is when you're watching this.